That's right. We're recycling the past cycles that we haven't learnt from. And so now our mistakes become bad news because we've got these little children that haven't grown up, that keep repeating old cycles. And those old cycles are getting brought on to the next generation, my friend. If you're listening today, if you have a heart for anything that I'm speaking, if you're not sure about what I'm here for, I want to stop that cycle in your life from coming on to your next generation. If you've ever heard of this terminology, come with me with this. The baby boomer generation, the X generation, the Y's generation, and the Z generation. Well, the baby boomers were the ones that made the babies. They made babies as in they had 5 and 6 kids back then. And the babies represent also the babying of the entrepreneurial era. My mother and father, for example, restaurant. My mum couldn't speak a lick of English. She only knew Arabic. And my father could barely make it with English. But you know what? They babied a restaurant. The baby boomer generation. I can see a show of hands now as I'm talking. All you Greeks, all you Italians, all you English people, Australian people, you're with me. That's called the baby boomer generation. Well, what's the X generation? The X generation, they got targeted by the baby boomer generation because they got left at aunties and tias and nonnas and tetas' house, and they got left there while the parents were busy chasing the pursuit of money, happiness. And so the X generation was a target for disappointments, you see. The Y generation is the following generation that said, something's not right here. Why me? Why? The Y generation. The Z generation, my friend, represents my children. And the Z generation represents the zombie generation. The next generation is too busy to spend time with their children chasing after the same thing that the Y generation and the X generation and the baby boomer generation did, and they haven't learned from their mistakes. They haven't got time for their children. They have got nothing to invest into their children, and so therefore the zombie generation is caught up in the realm of the internet. It's called, my friend, the World Wide Web. Let's go back to the WXYZ. The web. The www, web, World Wide Web. What's it out for? Ta-da! It's out for your generation. Children that are getting addicted to the web, that are getting caught on the web, the danger in the web, the spiders on the web that are spinning the web. I'm going to give you a little taste today that zombie generation likes likes iPhones, YouTube, Facebook, cut them in half. I face you. Do your sums. Who's facing you on the web? World Wide Web. Going back to me. Trauma, after shock, after death, after loss. When my mother died and my father wasn't hardly there, looking for love, I got molested. I had no ability to reason in my judgment, to basically getting tuned with my Noah. So we've learnt today, or in the previous, let's retract a little bit, in the previous series of Hope, Right, Pursuit of Happiness. You are a force. You have a map. You are a map. You are born to win. Also, you are hungry in your emotions. You have inlets and outlets of who you are at the head. When there's the head, then you are your own CEO. You're the head. How the head works is very important to the rest of the function of the body. And today I'm wanting to hone in on the fact that the disappointments are looking for an appointment to recycle the same cycle that your parents did. And your parents, you might be saying, sis, but I'm fighting it. I'm doing everything different that my parent did. Shush, 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 you're not. You might be doing outwardly. You might have bought a different house to them in a different suburb. You might be in a different state. You might have run so far that you don't want to be near your family. But I'm going to tell you something. The disappointments turn into unforgiveness as teenagers. Unforgiveness produces rebellion. Rebellion then in the 20s turns into resentment. And by the time you're 30 and 40, my friend, it turns into bitterness. That's when the polyfiller comes in and the lady needs all the cracks filled so she can look like the pursuit of happiness. That's just a sample. I threw that one in for free. The suit, pursuit, rejection, abandonment, sexual abuse. I've come from that. By the time I was a teenager, I wanted to suicide. You know why? Because I was born with passion and determination and an excitement to win for life. I wanted to breathe life. I wanted to be life. I wanted to go out there and try life. I wanted to become life because I had so much passion within me, in case you haven't noticed. That was the last bit of breath. And so because of this passion, the same cycle of the recycle of my parents' disappointments came down into me. And so the pipe works of my plumbing was blocked with disappointments that and so instead of me being passionate and determined and full of life, that turned sour. And in the negative, you know how you have a magnet that has the positive and the negative? Well, the negative side to what I became was a woman that was crippled so much with disappointment that I was physically or spiritually and emotionally disabled. And you know what disablement means? You don't have to be in a wheelchair to be disabled. You can be just you. And all of the downfalls and the letdowns and the mistakes you've made, you might be 60 and 70 and you're watching me saying, is there any hope for me? I'm going to tell you today, bing, bam, good news. There is still hope, even if you're 70 and 80, and I don't care if you're 90, you've got a little bit of breath left in you today. I'm talking to you. I'm speaking to anyone out there that feels like this message relates to your life. Thank you today for watching Hope Road Church via the Pursuit of Happiness. My name is Susanna Brown, Pastor Susanna Brown for you. I'm looking forward for you to tune in next week for the 4th series of the Pursuit of Happiness. Hey, I'm going to ask you, if you're looking for more information about where our church is, hop on to the internet, the World Wide Web, and look up hoperope.com.au. Get your friends next time. Make some popcorn. Make me a popcorn. But I'm looking forward, or a coffee, I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. Stay tuned for the Pursuit of Happiness. Bye for now. Susanna Brown.